God, money, and common sense. Some people say they don't mix, but do they? Like they say, make money any way you can, with any trick you can. Give God his 10% and everything is fine. So, what does God really think about this? Is your work, money, and business all part of being a witness? Or is it one of those things? Find out on God, money, and common sense. Only on Encounter Jesus Television. Hi, my name is Daniel Chinekwe. Today on God, Money, and Common Sense, we will be interviewing someone special, and his name is Adedoyin Balogun, the CEO of Bowden Clothiers. He is a seasoned entrepreneur who has built a multi-million naira fashion brand from selling t-shirts. On this episode, you will be learning how to move from an idea level to practical business. Join me.
Okay, so I tell people that I don't think I really chose fashion. I think fashion chose me, right? I started right from the university. I started in the late 90s during the ASU strike. And for want of what to do, and while praying, as a young man, I just needed some form of income, just to be able to do some stuff I felt I should be able to do on my own and not having to wait for pocket money. And started by selling t-shirts, and the t-shirts that I got off a friend of mine, her mom had bought from the US. I keep on saying this story. And I sold the first 6, then she gave me another 6, and she said there were no more. And at that time, there was just demand. So I think the entrepreneurial spirit kicked in and said, look, we can do these things here now. And one thing led to another, looked for fabric. We were able to source fabric in there's this big market in Yaba, Chejo Show Market, before it later got burnt and now been rebuilt. Got 1 or 2 tailors, told them how I wanted it, directed them, and I was able to start selling. From there, we morphed into shirts, finished my degree, and I was happy, and which goes back to the value again. So my dad wanted me to go in for medicine as a 2nd degree because he said, look, pure and applied chemistry, he really just didn't see much. But I was happy with what I was doing. So I told him that, look, for me, it was not just about the course. It was about the contentment I felt within me, and I'm going to defer to the Chinese philosopher Sun Tzu, which when he talked about knowing thyself, and knowing thyself, I mean, there are just so many things that are so important, even as a business person, even as an intending single about to get married. Who are you? What are your temperaments? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Now, all these things, having done a critical assessment of your personality, it's not for anybody, it's for you. I found out that, okay, this fashion, this thing, so it was not for want of a job, because I was not even looking for a job. I liked what I was doing. and I was happy and I had peace within. That for me is one value proposition I don't trade. Once I'm not at peace within myself, I just call it. I know that it's best. And if I force it, I'll end up in trouble. So over a period of time, I've understood that aspect of my life and God. And when I don't get that peace, I just back down. So one thing led to another. I was posted to Abuja and I continued. So all through my service here, I was shuttling Lagos because I'd set up a small store and Unilag then, and about 4 tailors. And I was just happy. When he talked about the peace of God that passes all understanding, I was happy. I was not rich, but I was happy. And it's been that we've kept on building upon, line upon line, precept upon precept, till where we are today. So it's not for want of options that I chose fashion, which is why I said I think fashion chose me. And when I embraced it, I felt that, okay. I was a bit concerned when we started because really and truly, there weren't many examples to glean from that you could say, had done so well, But my fears got, allayed in the course of prayer. I got some scriptures. So I found I was not so much as what I did. I could sell granules and still be successful. All right. It was a couple of, one, it was the grace upon what I did. Two, it was the attitude with which I did what I did. It was the character. It was the presentation. So there were other things that I understood that, look, just the way you have rich medical doctors, you have poor medical doctors. Just the way you have rich lawyers, you have poor lawyers. You understand? So it was not about the career in itself. It was about the personality driving it. All right. So when I got that understanding, I said, okay, this is something that has helped me and still guided me as even up to today. Now, fashion, as interesting as it is, was, and I dare say that God was probably the first fashion designer, because if you go back to Genesis, right, after the fall, and Adam said, I'm naked. God said, who told you? Who told you I'm naked? What now happened? Because Adam was hiding. It was God that made the covering that they used to cover before driving them out of the Garden of Eden. All right? And as Christians, we also understand that there's a place of perversion. There's nothing that is good that will not have evil, that will not be perverted. Now, it takes us understanding and having an understanding to know that, look, just because there are rogue policemen or rogue lawyers or rogue does not necessarily mean that that actually supports and supports the fact that they are good ones. Because it takes you having a good thing before you have a corrupt copy. All right. So if we have that understanding that, okay, fashion, the world may have perverted it, but what was the original intention? What was the original purpose? To cover nakedness. Okay. But aside from now, taking it a step further, not just about covering nakedness, we also look at deeper things. Presentation. How did Jesus know the woman was a Samaritan woman? Dressing. When Jesus died, why did they cast lots on his clothes? Excellence. Quality of his clothing. The Bible talks about man looks at the outward, God looks at the inward. So before you come up to me, I'm going to size you up. It's human nature. I can't see your spirit. I can't see your intentions. But I can see the way you dress, and I can make deductions before you even speak. So dressing and fashion by extension are critical. There are times you don't even give audience to people that walk up to you because you just see that this person is not even well dressed up. Why do people take so much time to prepare for an interview? If you have it mentally and you're not dressed up for the role, no matter how good you are, they won't even allow you in. Because there's a minimum expectation that the people that are looking to onboard you have, of the kind of employee they want to onboard. So it's fashion is wider and deeper than a lot of people think. It's a ministry because in it you get to interact with people, you get to give advisory, and you get to also minister Christ. Not until you say, oh, you must be born again. No. But by virtue of your speech, which Bible admonishes us, that our speech should be graced. By virtue of the way you communicate, people also get to, okay, there's something about this person. You're not just a regular artisan that I've been dealing with. Like I said, everything has an aroma. We all give off energies. We just don't know it. And that's why sometimes you find that you gravitate towards this set of people more than this set of people. Because you just find that this person, it's not just jiving. So fashion is wide, fashion is deep, it's and like I said before, I dare say it's ministry and it has its own spiritual angles to it.
It shows the struggle for your business is in the spirit of excellence.
Yes.
Why did you choose that, and how has that practically affected your business?
So, I was given that by the leading, of the Holy Spirit when I wanted, and excellence in itself is not even a destination. Excellence is a journey. You never really get there. You keep on building, you keep on improving, and for me and for us as a business is about just pushing the boundaries, line upon line, precept upon precept. It's about benchmarking yourself against your better self. It's about never having a better yesterday. The path of the righteous, it shines brighter and brighter. Meaning that as a Christian in business, you always strive to excel. You always strive to deliver a product. You always strive to be better than you were, and this rubs off even on the organization. So in the spirit of excellence connotes that it's not just about flesh. On my own, you can do nothing. We can do nothing. I can do nothing, but we can do all things through Christ. So the Spirit leads, and that spirit of excellence, because that's the spirit that Christ carried. That in 3.5 years of his ministry, he finished all he was to do. And 2,000 years plus after, it is still speaking. Excellence keeps on unfolding. Just when you think you've seen it all, it's just like car makers. They release the car this year, you say, wow. The next year they release another model, you say, Excellence is never a destination. You never reach a point whereby you have attained all. But you keep on pushing. You keep on pushing. So that's informed the motto of our business. And we also keep on driving the staffs, driving the workmen, that we can be better. We can do better. And we try as much as possible to hold ourselves to higher standards of accountability. So I tell you the truth and I lie not. You can't do any tangible or meaningful business not just in Nigeria, wherever you are in the world, without the leading of the Holy Spirit. You can't divorce faith and business. Now, a couple of people I mentor, and I tell them something. What gives you the impetus to open store today? How do you know you're going to make a sale? How do you know anybody's going to walk in? What assurance do you have? You don't have any assurance, really. Why do you plan for tomorrow? How do you know you'll see tomorrow? So it's important that we put things in perspective, that we are all creatures, especially as Christians, of faith. Faith believing that I'm not opening this place just for opening. God will drive clients. That doesn't mean you are irresponsible not to make your calls, not to do your advertisement and your promotions. No. It just means that you believe that after doing all to stand, you stand. After doing all to publicize, you know that the harvest will come. All right? So that is one. Two is the word integrity. I read a very interesting definition of integrity, meaning wholeness, oneness. Who you are on your inside and who you profess to be are one and the same. And it's the same thing. Who you say you are in church and how you conduct your business should be one and the same. Don't lift up holy hands for me on Sunday. Then on Monday you tell me, oh, well, leave that one down at church. This is not business. What's in it for me? Talk is cheap. Even I am talking, but it is real. This is the work. The WLK, which is actually the WORK. Walking the talk is where the work is. Whereby you say, no, I'm afraid I won't be able to do this because it's against my values and principles. And we're going back to the issue of values again. The sum total of a Christian, it can be summarized by the fruits of the Spirit. And when you talk about love and every other thing, being compassionate, long-suffering, because there are some customers that come with a lot of baggage. And I oftentimes, when I even talking with my staff, I let them know people are going through a lot. Some people are going through nasty marriages. Some people are just, so when they come to us, first and foremost, how is the environment? Does it exude warmth? Does it exude love? Does it exude friendliness? And those are critical things, critical values that we try to hold as an organization. So you can't divorce your person as a Christian and your belief and attributes as a Christian and your life as a business person or as an apostle in the marketplace. They should be one and the same. They should be one and the same. Okay, so talking about mentorship, I think we need to understand that in the last couple of years, mentorship has become such a big deal. When I started out fashion, there were really no, in quote, mentors that you could go to because it was not a big concept then. But one thing looking back, I said to myself, okay, there are two people that mentored me from afar because I studied them and I took what worked for them and what didn't work for them, and I fashioned my business with those points. So right now and presently, I do have a couple of younger designers that I mentor, and it's a lot easier. So I would advise that you have mentors, not just in your career, but also in your spiritual walk, people you can look up to. Because like I said before, there is nothing you are going through that is not common. What has just happened is that some people have passed it, they've passed that route and they are onto bigger things. So they can easily tell you that there's no need to circle this mountain again. This is the route to take. This is the way out. So mentorship, when you can access good mentors, a mentor should also be, the mentor is not somebody, it's not your mate. It should be someone that pushes you to excellence. It's someone that sees the good in you and is willing to help you nurture it. It's not someone that would capitalize on your weaknesses. And I say this with all sense of responsibility, especially when it comes to opposite sexes. It's not somebody that wants to take advantage of you. It's not somebody that will fleece you. It's somebody that is doing it. You're not threatening the person. The person is confident in, like I said before, the person, you and the person are not even on the same level. So it's somebody that is more than happy to help you climb up. So in choosing your mentor, you also have to be attuned and be spiritually, sensitive to know that this person can mentor me. That's one. I have had two instances. The first, and I'm going to the other question now, when praying to God for money. And that was slightly, about 20 something years ago. And I remember very clearly that I never promised to give you money. I heard it clearly. But I said, I'm the one that gives you the ability to make wealth. Okay? 1. And 2, whatsoever thy hands findeth to do. So, are you doing anything? If you have 0 and he multiplies it by 1,000, what does that give you? That's it. He did not talk about what it is, whatsoever you find to do. So I find it quite funny, quite queer when I hear people saying, oh, they've been looking for a job for 5 years. Okay, what are you doing now? I said, nothing. Nothing. How is that possible? So we need to further find what to do. Everybody has a gifting. Everybody has deposits of grace on their inside. It's how we nurture it that now, and our expressions that now differ. So we should seek to look. A lot of times it's because we've never really sat down to draw from our within. There's so much deposit on our within. There's so much deposit. That we are not taking time to nurture our spirit man, to actually understand, okay, God, why am I here? What is it? Where am I missing it? How would you lead me? Okay, what do I need to do, to move to the next level? That's the first. Now, I remember a second time when I went to move location and I was frustrated. I felt, I was bigger than where I was presently occupying and so I felt caged. And I remember going to God, I need to move. I felt I could do better in a bigger space. And I heard clearly that you have not maximized this one I've given you. I've not maximized. Shortly after, I got a blueprint of how to reorganize the place. And I'm so thankful for that, because sometimes we want to jump the process. And when we jump the process, you find out that you just end up crashing. The only thing that starts from the top is the grade. Every other thing grows organically. When you grow organically, it's more sustainable. Now, going to product creation, there is a process. Your work is not done as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as a Christian in business until the client is happy. Ask yourself, which is what I oftentimes do, if you were the customer, would you pay for this? Would you be happy paying? Because any money that somebody gives you without real value, it really doesn't last. And you really don't get repeat patronage. It is easier to build a business on repeat patronage than always seeking for new clients. You know, so I would say that try as much as is possible. Sometimes it's hard. You've put in your last money just trying to please this person, and it's almost as if the person is not appreciating it. You have to go back to drawing board. But what it also does is that it's also toughening you. It's also honing your skills. It's also creating an excellent spirit in you. You know, and like Daniel, we can be set aside, knowing that that excellent spirit, it will always single you out. It will always single you out. It will always single you out in the midst of everybody. In the midst of everything, in the midst of all the in quote hopelessness and despondency, don't lose hope. Tough times never last. Tough people do. The land is very, very green, and there are opportunities all abound. Whatever challenge, trial we're going through now as a nation, as a people, is just a passing phase. You know, soon and very soon we'll be out of the woods. And Nigeria, this nation, shall take its pride of place amongst community of nations. But hanging there, because only those that have the lion heart can partake of the lion's share. This is Adedoyin Balogun, and you are live on Encounter Jesus TV. Thank you.